Hello friends, welcome to my channel Homeopathy Super Sessions by Dr. Jagose. Today I'll be telling you about the LM-Potency because I've got many requests from many people to make a PowerPoint or to make a video on LM-Potency. So I've divided this into many parts because I'm getting requests that the videos are too long to see. So I have divided it into many parts so that you all can see it and also understand it properly. So let us see about the introduction, what LM-Potency has to say, the first part. A homeopath should have a deep knowledge of the 4th and 5th editions of the organon to understand the homeopathy of the 1840s, which is found in the 6th edition. So basically, you have to be familiar with what has been mentioned about posology or what has been mentioned about the scale on the 5th and the 5th of the 4th and the 5th edition of organon. And homeopathy as commonly practiced today is based on single dry dose, wait and watch method of the first chronic disease in 1828 and of the 4th organon edition in 1829. So generally nowadays we are giving a single dry dose and we are giving the method of wait and watch. In this method, a single pellet dose of the centricell potency is used as long as the patient is improving even in the slightest manner. So what are we doing? We are administering one single dose of the medicine in the centesimal scale, which was introduced by Dr. Henneman in the 5th edition of Organon. And as long as the patient goes on improving, we do not interfere and we allow the medicine to completely exhaust action or unfold itself to the maximum level. So many of the great 19th century homeopaths like Kent were masters of this method. So our great personality, Dr. J.T. Kent, he was a master of this method in the centesimal scale. And as you all know, he was a high potency prescriber. He always prescribed high potencies and he was very successful in getting very good results. The dry dose may only be repeated when there's a definite relapse of the old symptoms calling for repetition. So, Dr. Henneman has told us that a single dose, dry dose, you give on the centesimal scale. As long as it is acting, you do not interfere with the medicine. But as long as the medicine acting, do not interfere. But moment the symptoms which have disappeared under the action of the first medicine, they again reappear. That is the only indication for repetition. So therefore, I've written that it must be repeated when there's a definite relapse of the old symptoms calling for repetition. Okay, so whatever symptoms have disappeared after giving the first dose and they have again reappeared, that is the only time for repetition. Otherwise, you do not repeat. Henneman was not completely comfortable with this method in cases that only showed slow improvement over a longer period of time. So, in this method of using the centesimal scale, giving one dose, waiting and watching, a lot of time was taken. No doubt improvement took place, but it took place over a long period of time. So Dr. Henneman wasn't very comfortable or he wasn't very happy because the time taken to cure the disease was very long. In the fifth edition of Organon, he suggested any striking progressive improvement, I repeat, striking progressive improvement, preludes the repetition of the remedy because the cure is already taking place at the fastest possible rate. So as long as the improvement is striking, as long as it is progressive, you do not repeat the medicine. At the same time, he taught that the single dose was not sufficient for those cases that slowly improved over a period of weeks to months. So therefore, Henneman also said that this one dose, what you are giving at the first instance, no doubt improvement is taking place, but it is very slow from periods of weeks to months. So therefore, the cure took place at a long stretch of interval of time, and this Dr. Henneman wasn't very comfortable with because he thought the period of cure would definitely be diminished if we would repeat the medicine. In the year 1840, Dr. Hahnemann began to introduce his new LM-Potency into clinical practice. So in 1840, Dr. Hahnemann started on a new scale, that is the 50 millisiemens scale of the LM-Potency into clinical practice. The discovery of the new 1:50,000 dilution ratio introduced a new potency system with unique medical qualities. So out here, the dilution ratio was 1:50,000, and Dr. Hahnemann had introduced a new potency which had unique medicinal qualities. From the year 1840 to 1843, he used both the centesimal as well as the LM potencies. Thus, 50 millisiemens scale was introduced by Dr. Hahnemann in the 6th edition of Organal of Medicine, Aphorism 270 to 272. So, if you read Aphorism 270 to 272 along with the long footnotes which have been mentioned out here, it will give you a fairly good idea of what the 50 millisiemens scale is, how to prepare it, how to administer it, and so on and so forth. Interestingly, the name was given by a French physician, Dr. Pierre Schmidt of Geneva, far back in 1837. In this method, the material part of the medicine is said to be decreased by 50,000 times for each degree of dynamization. Hence the name 50 millisiemens potency. Hahnemann himself termed this new method as the renewed dynamization method. So that's all for the first part. I've kept it short because there were many requests from many people to make short videos, so that they can at least see the whole video and able to understand it instead of making a video of 1 hour or 1.5 hours, which becomes very tiresome to the people watching it, and they may not watch the full video. So please tune for more. Part 2 is coming up, and please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.